What initially attracted you to our company?
Well, real estate is based on three basic principles: trust, quality, and service. And the first factor, trust, happened initially when I first talked to Ty, the owner of the company, one of the owners of the company, was when I was on a family emergency in Winnipeg, and he was interested in a house that I had listed, but it didn't work out. Very Just a few days later, there was another one that I found that worked more to his needs. And while I was still in Winnipeg, he was nice enough to say, okay, let's write up a contract and we'll see if we can get this house. Now, the whole thing was that he could have actually gone directly to the builder and the person selling the house, or the person selling the house, and not dealing with me. So I knew that I could trust him right off the bat. And then from that point on, I started working with them on a couple of things, and including some financial investments, which worked out really well. So the trust factor built quickly throughout our relationship. The quality thing was something that I saw because I toured some of his earlier homes and they were amazing. I've been a real estate agent for 15 years almost, and as an architect as well. I studied architecture at the University of Manitoba. I started to see that there was a difference in the quality of the work that they were doing over and above the many other houses and new places that I had experienced before. So that was already a built-in thing. The service thing was something that had to build over time, but it was primarily addressed during the making of this house. I mean, this house, everything about it, everything that I asked for, they addressed any issues that I had, any changes that I wanted to have done, and they did so with complete honesty, in some cases saying, well, we can't do that, giving me the reasons for that, but always being there for me.
Can you share any challenges you faced and how a team addressed them?
Well, I wanted some changes. I was interested in buying this house early on, about 6, 7 months before it was actually going to be finally built. And I wanted to have a summer kitchen in the basement. We were talking about the idea of a separate entrance, but that became too expensive. But I wanted hardwood throughout the house because of my dog. I didn't want to have carpets. And so they were able to do that and address that. We were able to communicate very nicely with the design work. I was involved in some of that. I wanted a washer and dryer down in the basement in case I wanted to have long term guests. So we found a space for that. So all of the challenges and all the things that I wanted, the high ceilings, the extra high ceiling in the bedroom, the primary bedroom, all of those things somehow seem to work out. So anything in layouts that I wanted little changes to, they were able to accommodate as well.
What were your personal highlights when it came to construction and design?
Well, first of all, the impression that I got when I first came into the house the first time was the size of it. I mean, I know about these houses and the constraints of building houses on narrow lots, but somehow this seemed much bigger because of the layout, because of the high ceilings. It was so impressive. And the windows, the placement of the windows, the extra windows, there were so many things that were done that made this house so impressive. The amount of cupboard space was astounding. And it just seemed, for a house that was typically the same size as others, it felt like it was bigger. And, I guess with a house, it could be bigger is better, right? Um, the other thing was the second floor. The layout was so perfect. I mean, the bonus room was way bigger than I expected. The primary bedroom, the windows in there, the feeling of having almost a castle to live in, all of those factors contributed to, an impressive impression of what was being done with this house. The landscaping, everything was done to a T. I mean, I've been with builders that have done landscaping that collapsed after a while, that was irregular, the grass wasn't done properly, the fencing wasn't done properly. Everything was done to a T and all worked perfectly when finally it came to move into the house.
Amazing. How did our team meet your expectations in terms of communication and support?
They were always there for me. I mean, the expectations were when you're working with a builder that they're always going to be communicative with you, but they took those extra steps. There was times where I wanted things that changed at the last minute and they were able to do that. There were things that somehow didn't seem right and I addressed them and they took complete attention to that and made sure that that was all done. The contractor that they had working for them also was really good. I wanted some last minute changes. I wanted to have some speaker wire put through the ceilings before it was all enclosed. They did that for me. Just a whole number of little tiny details. And, you know, I was putting a lot of attention towards the building of the house, and they were always there for me.
Would you recommend this to your family and friends, and why?
I would highly recommend Marroon Homes to anybody that's considering a new build, simply because on the three factors that are most important in real estate, trust, quality, and service, they're always able to deliver.
Well, thank you so much, Richard, for deciding to work with us and Maroon Homes. We appreciate working with you, and we thank you for choosing us in your build process. Thank you so much.
It's such a full of glad and joy in our heart, to have you in your beautiful home. And we thank you so much, for the trust and then for the confidence, to partner with us on this project.
Well, it was my pleasure. I absolutely adore this house. As I mentioned before to someone else, I'm going to be here for a long time, and it's just an absolute pleasure, a joy to live in it.
Thank
And
you
good
so much.
work.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
guys.
so much.
All
Thank you
right.
so much.